It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time it looks like we're going to have a new mayor here after the first of the year, and it will probably be the guy I'm going to be interviewing today on this podcast, Randy Ervin. A lot of people know him as Erv. He's been on the Newton City Council for a long time. I go way back with him to high school. We were in drama together, and later on in life, we worked at the same radio station together. And we had a wide-ranging interview talking about his days on the city council, what he would like to do as mayor of Newton, and also he's been a coach on the sidelines for the Newton Cardinal Football team, and what he thinks the Newton Cardinals prospects will be for the football season for this year. So enjoy the interview with Randy Ervin that we have coming up in just a couple of moments. But first, a word from our sponsors, including Ryan's Tire and Auto on 1st Avenue in Newton. When Nick gashed a tire during his Amazon delivery route, timing was everything. They had him fixed up and back on the road within an hour. Life doesn't pause when your car breaks down. That's why they work quickly to get your car rolling again without cutting corners. Fast, dependable service is what they're known for at Ryan's Tire and Auto on 1st Avenue in Newton. Also, Newton Clinic. Healthcare is for the whole family, all under one roof at Newton Clinic. At Newton Clinic, their family medicine team is here for every stage of life, from your child's first checkup to your parents' ongoing care. One clinic, every generation, a lifetime of health. Call today to schedule an appointment for the whole family. Give them a call, 641-792-2112, 641-792-2112 at Newton Clinic. Another fine sponsor, Advantage Credit Union.
Are you feeling financially drained? Tired of high interest rates and endless debt? Fear not, your financial superhero has arrived. Advantage Credit Union is here to rescue you from financial distress. With our powerful loan refinancing options, you could lower your monthly payments, shorten your loan term, and free up cash for a brighter future. Unleash your financial superpower today. Call us at 641-792-5660 or apply online at acuiowa.org.
Subject to credit approval, terms and conditions may apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
It's time for an Out and About with Jamie Grout, and this time around we are going to talk to mayoral candidate Randy Ervin. I know him as just good old Erv, and in the interest of full disclosure, we go way back to high school. We were involved in drama together, and then a few years later, we worked at the same radio station together at KJJY in Des Moines. I was a DJ on the air, and he was in sales. But, Erv, I'm not going to go easy on you. I want you to know.
Ask all the questions you need to, Jamie.
All right, okay. He's running for mayor, unopposed, with the city elections coming up next month. And so far, you're in as mayor, because unless there's going to be write-in candidates.
There is an opportunity for people to do write-in candidates, but right now my name will be the only one on the ballot.
Okay. First question. You ran for mayor against Evelyn George last time around, and she won, and you're running for mayor again this time. Why in the heck would a nice guy like you, Randy Ervin, want to be mayor of good old Newton, Iowa?
You know, Jamie, being from Newton, you understand the love and the loyalty that we have to this town. It was a rough election last time. If you'll remember, there was 3 of us in the mayor's seat, and that was Evelyn George, who beat me by 13 votes, and then we also had Lonnie Appleby, which is a very good candidate as well. So of the 3 of us, it was wonderful, a very friendly competition. And I've told a lot of people, I'm glad Evelyn had the chance to be mayor. She was a longtime city council person. She's done a lot of good things for the city. So I'm glad she had that opportunity. And now I really feel it's my turn.
Okay, I'm going to throw a hardball at you here right away, Randy. A lot of people concerned about the derecho mess in downtown Newton. What's going to be done about that? I know there's been a petition going around, but I talked to somebody the other day and said that's not going to do any good. They're doubting Thomas about that. And the guy who owns it right now doesn't seem to want to do anything about it. And it's just again, I don't know why you'd want to be mayor, because you and the city council are going to have to take that problem on. What can be done about it?
You know, funny that you say that, because on my way to this interview, I actually drove by that, as I often do.
Yes.
There is actually 2 generators and 3 construction trucks there as we speak, Hopefully that's a sign that that building will be down in the very, very near future. I do have to shout out, though, to the people in the town that has willingly signed the petition to put that petition in front of judges as we go forward with the court proceedings, as well as the county supervisors who voted unanimously last week to give us a letter of support to also take the building down. So we are doing what we need to do through the judicial system to make sure that this doesn't slip off into somebody's back burner. And I think the attention that we've gotten in the last few weeks with the petition and the county's help, and with Mayor George going out and getting signatures as well, I think we're going to start seeing some results.
Now, Randy, from what I understand, the building has to be taken down very intricately, if that's the correct word for it, because Jay Coonan owns the other building next to it, and so it has to be taken down very carefully. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. We have to be careful anytime that you take away a building that's this old and it's connected to multiple buildings in the same block. And Jay's building right next to it is a big concern. It's a concern for him as well as our own safety department. So it's been designed all the way at least twice, if not three times, that they would put up a supporting structure that would support Jay's wall as well as the rest of the walls in that building as they do the demolition project. So that's important. It's important for us to take care of Jay and his business. But at the same time, it's important that the city has its due diligence and make sure that this comes down and is paid for by the owner and done correctly.
All right. A big issue, as I know, working at WHO in the morning, is property taxes. It's a huge concern. Doug Bishop spoke before our Rotary Club here a week ago, and I know that people are so upset. In fact, people have called up WHO in the morning in tears because they're afraid they're going to lose their house due to the property taxes being so high. Is there anything that the city can do about that, or that you have concerns about that in terms of being the possible Newton future mayor?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First of all, I think we should be proud of where we're at. If you take a look, there's an organization out there that tracks city governments and county governments and how they're doing on a tax basis. And if you go out to their website and you look at it, Jasper County and the city of Newton is actually one of the few that is in the green because we're doing it what they would consider respectfully in a correct manner. Do I think property taxes are too high? I think it's higher than what they need to be. We have been able to maintain the same tax rate ever since I was on the council for the last 6 years. But there's a lot of pieces and moving pieces to this puzzle that people don't completely understand. The county assesses their part of the taxes. The city has a tax rate, again, that we haven't raised in 6 years. The state then has what's called a rollback. So every year when we go to do the city budget, we can determine what our rate is to keep the services that we need, like fires and libraries and police and protection and the things that we need to operate as a city. And we know what that costs. And so we put that into our tax rate and we do it. But then you get the county assessor who gets to assess the property, and that value may go up even though we maintain our percentages. If your assessed value goes up, then you're paying more. And then the same at the state. If the state rollback changes, you could pay more. So there's a lot of pieces to that property tax file that needs to be looked at. One of the things that I would like to see us do is grow the city. If we grow the city, we can reduce some of that tax burden on the current citizens. And I think that's got to be one of the goals going forward.
So how do you propose the city grow even more?
Well, I think we have some great things in the works. You have already, a lot of people have heard about the rail park, which has been a great joint adventure with the city and the county and the railroad and Lion Energy. The rail park is very close, hopefully within a week or two of being certified by the state. We have NHDC that is working along with JEDCO from the county, and they're already marketing this to several businesses and corporations, not just in the United States, but I understand a couple international companies as well. that would do a lot of good for Newton. And the way I like to explain that to people is as the metro grows, and we all know that Des Moines eventually is going to grow this way, what the rail park and other projects that we have going right now at the city is going to do is allow the city of Newton to keep its own identity. A lot of towns, as a metro area like Des Moines grows, they lose their identity as a town. They become bedroom communities or just work communities and not really have an identity. I think with the growth of the Newton Rail Park, with some of the other projects that we're going on right now that we're working on, I think Newton will be able to keep its identity. We're an awesome town with a lot of amenities. And sometimes I think people forget that. We have a great town square. We have a great legacy plaza. We have a great golf course, an airport, a library, a school system. I mean, you go on and on and on. Not every community that's going to get swallowed up by Des Moines has those amenities. So it's very important for us going forward to grow the city and do so in a responsible way in both housing as well as business and commercial. So it's the reason I want to be the mayor is because I want this city to grow. At the same time, we need to keep our identity as one of the best communities in the state of Iowa.
So how long have you been on the city council now, Randy?
I am completing my 6th year. I was elected for 4. And then when Mayor George won the last election, her seat became available, and I was chosen by the members of the city council as well as Mayor George to replace her as an at-large candidate. So I'm completing my 6th year of city council.
So what are some of the things you're most proud of from having been on the city council all that time?
You know, I think one of the things that we've done is started thinking forward more. We're starting to look at, okay, not just the 30-year plan, but what are we doing in the next 5 to 10 years? We have been able to maintain our tax rate, even though a lot of indices and a lot of things in the city, the cost continues to grow. If we can maintain our rate, that's a plus for the community. The other thing is you look at what we've accomplished, and I think there's some things behind the scenes that I've done to keep involved with things like Main Street. Things like our chamber, getting involved with them. One of the things that I've tried to be as a city council person is a connector. I know when Eric Peterson came in at the Iowa Speedway, I took as many times as I could to introduce him to people throughout the city as well as different organizations. The same thing when we got a new director at the YMCA. I spent a lot of time with George, again, just connecting him to other leaders throughout the community, because I think that's the next page for the city is we need to get the community leaders going in the same direction. We need to sit down with all the organizations and work together to make this an even better community. I think the other thing I'm very proud of, and I believe that all of the city council and Mayor George has worked hard to build a bond with our Jasper County supervisors. I think we've seen things such as a letter of support on the derecho building. That may not have happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And it's through the constant communication, the constant discussions and working with them, specifically with the rail park, that we've grown a great admiration for both the county and the county for us. And I think that's one of the things that we need going forward is to make sure we're on the same page.
Well, and I don't know if you can discuss this or not, Randy, but I told you I'm not going to hold back on you, buddy. The police department under a lot of scrutiny because of a lawsuit that is underway. And did the police department overstep its bounds in going after a young man who was, I guess, wrongly found to be under the influence of marijuana, and the police department's been attacked in social media and whatnot. I can't go this interview without, asking you to address that if you can.
Well, no, I actually don't mind talking about it at all. I have to be a little bit careful because it is still in the litigation process. But first of all, I have to be completely honest. Tavian played football for me.
Okay.
I have a great relationship with Tay. Good young man. Ended up on a rough situation on a cold, rainy night. And if you watch the entire video, which a lot of people like to watch little excerpts of it, If you watch the entire video, Tay would probably be honest and say he was a little ornerier than he could have been. And at the same time, our police department has certain protocols they have to follow. And I think our officer went through those. And we have to err on the side of safety. Is there things that everybody would have done differently in that situation? I think that's true. But as far as the lawsuit, let's let the lawyers figure that out and move forward. It's definitely not a blemish on our community because our police department is going to do what it can do to keep our community safe.
Okay. Randy, one of my first podcasts was with Evelyn George. And I asked her, I said, Evelyn, is this job a bigger job than you thought it would be? And it was. Are you ready to take that on, Randy? It's going to be huge. I know you're retired from UPS and you've been on the city council. You probably have a good idea of what's facing you.
I do, and I'm excited. Of course, I look to the past and the history of this town, and think back when we were in high school. You had Mert Levine, and
yes.
Which was the first, I believe, female mayor of the city. And then you look at some of that's past that, Mike Hansen and Chaz Allen and Mayor George, and I see what they've done and what their challenges have been, and I know there's going to be some challenges, but I think I'm one of those guys just because of the gifts God gave me that I can be a uniter, to use President Reagan's theory. But I think I can unite the county, the city, some of the different industries, and I think I can bring new industry to town. I'm a big advocate for the people we have in this city. I walk the streets. I talk the talk. People know me. They see me working with United Way. They see me working with Main Street and Chamber. They see me coaching football and working with the youth of tomorrow. And that's who I am. And so I'm ready for the challenges. Is it going to be easy? I don't think so. I think there's going to be some long nights, but I'm very thankful that between my relationship with God and a very, very supporting wife, I think I'll be good for Newton and Newton will be good for me.
Well, you brought up Newton football, and I can't let this interview go without asking you about the team. You are a coach on the team, and it's looking pretty good for Newton Cardinal football so far this year. What do you see for the rest of the season?
We're blessed again with just some great kids that want to work and they work hard and they understand that their expectations are higher than most. I think we have a great coaching staff. Andy Swedenjelm is amazing. I came back, one of my jokes when we talk about it with the football is I'm probably the only guy that has either played for or coached with every head coach since 1976.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
So I played for Frank.
I was going to say, you go back to the Frank Gilson days.
Yep,
I remember being in the stands and seeing Ervin on the back of your jersey. You bet.
Yep. So I played for Frank and loved that, and got to play for and coach with Dick Stiles, who is an absolute legend.
Oh, sure. He was one of my driver's ed teachers, by the way, too. Yeah.
And a teacher.
Yeah,
you bet. Good teacher. And then, after that, John Jenkins, what a wonderful man. Really, I tell this to a lot of people. John Jenkins probably did as much for me as a mentor as anybody in my life. Even at UPS, I tried to pattern a lot of my management style off of John Jenkins and what he stood for. So I got to work with him and the coaching staff for several years as a scout and a coach, a freshman coach, and worked at different things in the project with John. And then when I retired, I actually ran into Eddie at Walmart one night, and he looked at me and he goes, "I hear you're retiring." And I said, "Yeah." And Eddie goes, "Well, I'd really like to have you back on the coaching staff." So 2019, I had what a wonderful opportunity to coach with Ed Ergenbright, just one of the true legends of this city. Just again, for what he does and what he's done for the youth of this town's amazing. And then when Andy took over in 2020, we talked about it, and I said, "Okay, I'd love to play or coach with you for a couple years, Andy." And I tell you what, since 2020, and people will remember that wonderful year because we went 0-8, something I never thought I'd see a Newton Cardinal team do. But there were so many different things. To share a football story with you, we're literally getting dressed to go play Marshalltown, and shortly before the team came together, the athletic director walked in and said, "You will not have an offensive or a defensive line because one of them tested positive for COVID."
Oh, dear. Okay.
So we went into that game with a brand new lineman within literally hours before the game. But we've went from that 0-8 season, and we learned from it. And Andy and the rest of the coaching staff that we work with has really set some high standards for the kids.
Yes.
You look at what Andy does. He has the youth. We do things like helping out the farmers market.
Right.
We helped out South Skunk Blues Festival at the Bowl. Our youth are trying to give back and becoming part of the community. And I think, Jamie, if we look back in the 70s when you and I was here, that's what made us so special because we were part of the community.
You bet. You bet. Well, great. Do you think you're going to predict a playoff team this year?
I think everybody's expectations is playoffs or higher.
Okay.
I think, the last 2 years we made the playoffs, we've exited in the first round. And I think that we're hoping that trend changes. We have some great kids. We're led by some of the best skill players I think we have seen in the history of Newton. We have kids that are being heavily recruited by Division I schools, which is a great honor. And the fun thing is, they're good kids. They're so coachable and they work so hard. And you see them in the weight room all year long. You see them in other sports having success. Things like state track title. I mean, this is a pretty special group.
You bet. You bet.
Sophomore through senior, they're all pretty good.
Randy, always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And folks, it was on short notice too. And Randy said he had a 3-hour window, and I fit right into it. So I'm glad we had the chance to talk. It's always wonderful talking to my old friend Irv. And good luck to you in the election, and good luck at Newton football too. Our interview guest has been Randy Ervin, who is a mayoral candidate in the Newton City Government election coming up in November. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout. This podcast also sponsored by Jersey Freeze in Monroe, home of the Van and Bon Freezer. Lynette Baker, Halo Branded Solutions. If you need promotional products, talk to Lynette Baker. Westside Java Coffee Bar and the Made Right Sandwich Shop, having breakfast 7 days a week at the Made Right. Until next time, out is out. See ya.